Now, if you're an honest man like myself, you might admit that sometimes your guilty pleasure is going on apps such as TikTok, where my entire feed is mainly of some guy dressed as Bigfoot repeatedly playing Careless Whisper on a saxophone named Sax Squatch. But outside of that, I've noticed that TikTok in many ways has helped certain bands in the indie music genre, alongside promoting both new and existing artists, overall driving a new angle and revival for what I've always thought was a pretty great community, bridging the gap for both old and new fans of certain bands or artists. For example, a lot of artist songs have taken off on the app, like 17 Going Under by Sam Fender, Sex, Drugs, Etc. by Beach Weather, a fair few of Wet Leg songs, As the World Caves In by Matt Maltese, a lot of Mac DeMarco's more chilled tunes such as My Kind of Woman, a whole host of Arctic Monkeys and Oasis tunes, and whilst not strictly indie, Until I Found You by Stephen Sanchez. There's also been a lot of marketing availability for existing artists that have helped promote either their old or new music, seen with bands such as the 1975 and Arctic Monkeys, and more recent artists of the past 5 to 10 years like Ren. On top of all that, there's also been a vast amount of content shared on the platform looking at throwbacks to the mid-2000s, which I think means I'm now old. For festival performances by the likes of Block Party or Franz Ferdinand. And even better, there's been the emergence of new creative artists such as Good Future Music, creating mashups like What If the Strokes sang Take On Me by... That was embarrassing. So overall, there seems to be a lot more content surrounding indie music and past bands in the scene that I love. Far more now due to TikTok than I can remember since, well, forever, due to accessibility to music as a whole increasing through reducing the barriers to entry in music, i.e. you don't even need a computer anymore. You can literally do everything through your phone on TikTok as an app. In the past, platforms such as YouTube and SoundCloud have done the same thing, allowing content to be created at the personal level without the requirement of any business investment to pump out your content essentially. But TikTok is a lot faster to use once again. You can upload straight from your phone in a very easy and understandable way to do things, and the popularity of the app, unashamedly, is absolutely off the charts. So generally speaking, it increases exposure for both existing and new bands in a generally positive way that we haven't seen too much from anything other than maybe YouTube. Think back to when we had Vine, if you are that old. It was incredibly similar to TikTok, but never had the same promotion for music and new bands in the same way TikTok has managed to do. For example, I found out about a band I really like called Little Suspicions through the same kind of media, whether it was TikTok or Instagram Reels, but it was the exact same format for which you consume advertising on TikTok. And well, I liked the band and listened to whatever new stuff they put out despite being a smaller indie group. So, could TikTok be the saviour of indie music? Hold on, I think I'm going to be sick. Well, it's no surprise that indie music isn't as popular as it once was. Unfortunately, times change and preferences change. And the whole indie rock music genre now seems like a large term for a lot of artists that maybe should be specified as something more, but still need a nice umbrella term to fit for them. And to be honest, I don't really mind that. And things such as TikTok have not only revived a lot of old music, but have also pushed a lot of new music in the genre, as I mentioned, alongside again reducing those barriers to entry to the scene, which in my opinion is generally only ever a good thing for music. I mean, sure, we might hear a lot more bad music, but we also get to hear from people who would never have stood a chance at getting a record deal in the previous decades, or could never quite figure out how to use slightly more complicated platforms such as YouTube to appeal to a general audience. But I think maybe TikTok should be seen as just another component to rebuilding and recreating what is a fantastic genre of music, if you ask me, that openly adopts both the old and the new. I think we have to reflect on what indie music has become, and it's sort of become the teenage son of dad rock, where various types of music can now be merged together and celebrated together, rather than it just being guitar tracks now. I suppose for a lot of large artists, they might just use TikTok as a good marketing tool, which to be fair, it is and probably should be used as such. And instead of being angry and taking down a lot of content for copyright reasons, I think brands have now realised that the sharing of content on the platform, like TikTok, is, to put it simply, free, cheap and very effective advertising for their music or their tours. And well, who could blame anyone for wanting that and a lot more money? I mean, who wants to revive the music scene? Let's go, guys. I think in order to not overstate the effect TikTok might be having on the music scene, we have to kind of look at the chicken and the egg debate. Does an artist become majorly successful because of their song trending on TikTok, Or were they already going there? I think Sam Fender is an excellent example of this. 17 going under both as a single and an album was already performing extremely well, and Sam had already booked his arena tour. But 17 going under, the single, turning viral on TikTok, sent that song into another realm. As rather than just appealing to the essentially indie or rock fans, it was taken mainstream and consumed by a lot of a demographic who wouldn't really have listened to Sam's music otherwise. Now, does that mean TikTok saved Sam's career? Absolutely not. He was already incredibly popular with his respective genre, but you can't argue that TikTok taking his song did boost his career a fair bit in a separate demographic, which is only a positive thing with regards to his career. I suppose a large downside to that, though, is the effect this might have on the artist as a human being. Imagine that. Sam has maintained his popularity. I mean, look at him selling out St. James's Park, it's mental. But a lot of artists who do get that spike in popularity to unknown levels, only to be dumped later as if they were some sort of trend, could be kind of harmful on an emotional level. Who'd have thought that? But I suppose that's something you might have to take in your stride when you're entering the music business as a whole, as awful as that sounds. Trends do happen and they do go away, much like I was stating about indie music as a general genre declining in popularity. You also have the issue that the richest bands could possibly dominate the scene in terms of advertising. I mean, the amount of adverts I saw for Arctic Monkeys' new tour was mental. And we've had previous debates on this channel regarding the advertisement of bands such as Wet Leg when they burst onto the scene, despite not having that bigger back catalogue. But I mean, that's always going to be a specific issue with regards to paid advertisements, not TikTok as an app itself. I mean, if people are still on there creating and performing their own music, it shouldn't really relate too much to the marketing side of things, as it's a tale as old as time itself and is really a whole separate debate, I think. But overall, I think on some level, more exposure to the genre through social media such as TikTok has revived an interest to a new wave of people and varying demographics, in a way which the scene really did need, and to be honest, I can't help but love it. Maybe TikTok isn't indie music saviour as such, but the people pushing content on there and the new artists creating music and sharing it, alongside more availability of videos of gigs and artists on a whole, really does feel like it's pumped some new life into a lot of my favourite bands and artists, as well as helping me discover some new artists along the way, and well, I'm here for that kind of thing. I do think there are negatives to the app, but this is a sole perspective in the terms of music and the effect it's having on indie music as a genre specifically. So I'm pretty happy that it's bringing back a new sense of community and popularity. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as always, if you have the bravery to admit that you use TikTok yourself, or if you're a fellow admirer of Sax Squatch. As always, feel free to like and subscribe if you're new. And on that note, I think I'll say ta-ra for now, and I'll see you later.